We're talking about mothers. By the way, congratulations to mothers who may be listening in.
Yes.
This
Thanks
is
to moms.
your special day, this Sunday for you. My mom is with the Lord, passed away long ago. And
She still loves you.
and loves you. I have very pleasant memories of my mother.
Good.
She was a good, very good mother. But God bless her soul, she always suffered physical ailments. And I feel guilty. I don't think we did enough to help alleviate her pain and let her suffer too much. That is on my conscience. But
You're not alone.
Yeah, okay. As I was saying, there are mothers who feel guilty that they have not done well enough or were good enough. And there are mothers who should feel guilty.
That's very true.
Who have shirked their duties and failed at this noble calling of motherhood.
Correct.
And each of us has our own mothers. We don't want to put any one of them on the spot at this point. But I thought what I do is share what is so essential for a good mother to be a good mother is the word love. Love is a term that is used so often that it has, I think, almost lost its meaning.
Yes.
From overuse.
When you use a word a lot, even the word Jesus.
Yeah.
When you use a word a lot in many situations, it does tend to lose power.
Yeah. So I thought of going back to what I wrote long ago about this very famous, known as the love chapter of the Bible, 1 Corinthians 13.
Okay.
It is in the letter of Paul, one of the letters of Paul to the city of Corinth. Corinth is still a very bustling city today.
Okay.
And
does it have a different name?
No, Corinth is still Corinth.
Okay.
When you want to go from Athens, Greece, to Italy,
okay,
you skirt the peninsula. You can go right across because there's a Corinth canal that I've been on.
Wow.
I've been on a ship, very, very small ship. It's an old canal. You can almost touch the sides as you're going in. So you go up, and Corinth is at the northern end of it. Anyway, I don't want to get stuck with the history of the city.
That's okay. I know how much geography leads to context.
Okay. Yeah. Now, love, as the song says, and you were singing
it. There's so many splendored things.
Love is a many splintered thing. So, the lyrics of a popular song remind us again of how much our life is based on love. 1 Corinthians 13 could essentially describe the splendor we're talking about.
Okay. You said it is the love chapter of the whole Bible?
Yeah.
Wow.
In 5 verses, we have, if I may read it first, and then comment on it. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is envious or is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. He began this chapter by saying, if I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal.
Here we go. I remember that reference.
Okay, a noisy gong, a clanging cymbal, you know, they bang on these things in soccer matches.
Yes, they do.
So let me
There's
say,
been some very, very excited soccer fans lately, right around this time.
Yeah, poor Galaxy hasn't won a game yet.
Oh no,
they were champions last year. They haven't won a game this year.
Well, feast or famine, huh?
That's the way it goes. Yep. Now, there are 15 points I make about these.
You call this a Mother's Day meditation.
Yep. Love is slow to lose patience. I've been told, Cass, you need patience. You're not patient enough. Love is constructive. Love is not possessive. Love is not anxious to impress. Love does not cherish inflated ideas of itself.
No.
Love has good manners. Love does not pursue selfish advantage.
No, it does not.
Love is not touchy. Love does not keep an account of evil. Love does not gloat over the wickedness of others.
Nope.
Love rejoices when truth prevails. Love knows no limits to its endurance. Love knows no limits to its trust. Love knows no fading of its hope. Love outlasts anything else.
That is a great way to end those little bullet points.
Yeah.
Which are big meanings.
Now, as I said, such love does not come easy. The easy variety is merely a desire to possess a person or thing that appeals to us. The divine variety of love is the giving of oneself to the beloved, which means acceptance of hard work and responsibility. Now, that describes in many ways my mother.
Okay.
We went through hard times. It was the Second World War. Supplies were scarce. We did not have everything we needed or wanted. And she often sacrificed in our behalf. So it is true. It's giving of oneself to the beloved. A woman first gives herself to her husband and then to her children. Wives that are so self-centered that they care only their own looks and their own advantage and forces those around her to comply is not a loving mother. It's a selfish mother.
Correct.
Okay. Now, in the light of what I said earlier, not all women who are married are mothers or can be mothers.
Correct.
What do we do about that? How do we encourage them?
That is a fantastic question that I cannot answer.
My wife doesn't like to go to church on Mother's Day.
Okay.
Because she's never had children.
Okay.
And the time comes, they say, let all the mothers stand up. It hurts her.
I can understand.
So, how do we encourage all women and not just mothers? That's my point this afternoon.
To encourage all women, not just mothers.
And thank them, because they are creative people. It's not just bringing babies. By the way, it takes more than bringing babies into the world to become a good mother.
That is extremely true.
A lot of women who bring babies don't know what to do with them. And they either end up giving up their babies to foster care or mistreating them as they're growing up. It takes a lot of spiritual strength, insight, and love to be the kind of mother that we admire. Okay?
I was there in the room when the mother of my son was giving birth, and she did it with a cell phone and a washcloth. And
she still had a cell phone?
well, she had music playing. She had things she could reference, things she could read. And I mean, I'm a big guy. She was a little Asian girl, and that baby damn near ripped her in half. And she handled it with a smile. Not the kind of pain I don't think I could even handle.
Yeah.
So I appreciate what it takes to,
Yeah.
even though I have no idea what it actually feels like, and nor do I want to.
Well, that's true. And to thank them at this time, I think is a good thing. Let's thank our mothers and pray for them. And pray that the children will be good children, good boys and girls, grow up to be exemplary people.
Okay.
Um,
And now we're going to shift gears.
I want to shift gears to another article from 81 called Please Pray for My Son.
I think it goes right in line.
Yeah. Now I
People
know
will find out this has a few names they'll recognize.
I know when I left home, my mother kept praying for me, and she kept it up. On my birthday, she'd gather my friends and have a party without my being there. She'd have a cake even.
Really?
Yeah, even though I wasn't there. I was 10,000 miles away.
Wow.
She kept it up
Not
for
a
a long
short
time.
trip.
No. Please pray for my son is an actual quotation. It's a prayer request that came in one day to World Vision International, which I think it used to be, World Vision used to be in Pasadena. They moved to live in Washington now.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the biggest.
Washington State.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the biggest mission organizations in the world.
Okay.
It came from a well-known supporter, and he called in, and his name was John Hinckley of Greenwood, Colorado.
Okay.
2 days before his son had tried to assassinate the President of the United States.
Correct.
Ronald Reagan. It was March 30, 1981.
Okay.
And he called in the prayer request, please pray for my son, because obviously he was arrested.
Right.
And he was a deeply disturbed young man, lonely, drifting, confused, and alienated, had to resort to horrible violence. Why? Well, later on, he confessed the fact that he had a fixation on Jodie Foster,
Okay.
the movie star,
Okay.
and he was trying to do something to impress her.
Okay.
That's how twisted we can get in our desires. And what makes it so troubling and paradoxically exasperating is that he does not fit the stereotype we so easily assume is the image of a criminal. Here was a young man from an outstanding, wealthy, evangelical Christian family, living in a beautiful suburb of Denver. One wonders what really ever went wrong in that home. Why did John drift away from all the values, the security, and the faith of this family into anarchy and violence?
That brings about some fantastic questions.
Yeah. And I raise this up because we have to be honest about it. A lot of our homes that are beautiful home facades, inside there's a lot of turmoil.
Correct.
A lot of turmoil, and it's not the typical person that we think is a criminal but the rank and file, Jane, John, and Jill, that we rub shoulders with, whose homes could be just as troubled.
That's true.
Yeah. And in this case, what grabbed me was his parents were evangelical, which today means they are real Christians, quote unquote. Well, there are a lot of real Christian evangelicals who are in turmoil. His children don't like what's going on.
Correct.
And at the heart of it is mother. John's mother, I wonder, I'd love to talk to her. She's not mentioned here, but what do you think went wrong that her son ended up the way he did?
That is an excellent question, because it doesn't seem like anything out of the normal. And I can understand how that would confuse a lot of people, especially have a certain type of criminal look and feel in their mind.
And that's true. The assumption that if you maintain a certain religious concepts or belief system and say it enough, loud enough, pray for my son, sometimes too much prayer for the son turns him off. So love is careful in maintaining contact with the child or the children and getting feedback.
Correct.
Now, if you don't get that feedback, you just keep
Yeah, it keeps spiraling out of control.
preaching to them, so to speak.
Yeah.
It goes just the opposite. The kid will go nuts, and many of them have. They have left home. They say, I want to do anything about this anymore.
Yes, we've had an interaction with more than a few pastors' children that we've come across in Tustin and other places, and it's never the same story.
Yeah.
Never the same.
The term PK, preacher's kid. It's a well-known fact that many preachers' children end up being spoiled, or something goes wrong, or they're hard to get along with, and they're called PKs.
Mm-hmm.
I was so careful as I was as a father in my home with 4 children, raising those kids to be normal, not to act because more pious because their father was a minister. That kind of false piety turns them off. So I wonder in John Hinckley's family life, I don't want to guess, but I would love to know and ask him. Today, by the way, he's in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
He's into music.
Okay.
He writes original music. He composes songs. He's into art. He paints cats for some reason, and he's very.
He doesn't actually paint the cats, though, right? He just pictures of cats, right? Or does he paint cats?
No, he paints pictures of cats,
okay.
Not the cats themselves.
I just have to clarify.
That would be.
I know, but there's some interesting stuff here. I figured I'd clarify.
I'd love to see a painter can hold a cat long enough to paint him. He's very, very sorry for what he had done, and very apologetic. He's out, as you know, he's out, and he's out of jail. He's been out of jail over 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got a close eye on him.
Well, oh yeah, they do.
Big brother.
Yeah. Now, these are not isolated incidences, but are indicative of a malaise spread throughout our society, and we need to do more than pray for our son. We need to get more deeply involved with them to understand what their hopes, their dreams, aspirations, problems, and needs are. We need to be open and honest with them, and we need to be open and honest with our own spiritual leaders as well, so that adequate help may be provided while there is yet time. Often, spiritual leaders' own children develop critical problems as well.
Okay, their own children.
Yeah. We all need each other in times like this. Jesus' story of the prodigal son is as contemporary as today's headlines. He has something for us in which needs to be accepted and appropriated in our homes. We need, again, to be loving and to say, it's me, O Lord, standing in the need of prayer. I wonder if the father would have said, please pray for me as well as for my son. I need prayer.
That's an interesting...
Yeah.
I'm reading a book called Tactics by J. Warner Wallace, and there's something that comes to mind when you read that is about, and I'm not going to quote it directly because I can't remember the quote, and I'm not going to go dig it up. But he basically said that there are a lot of pastors out there just keeping the peace, and it's kind of a superficial peace. And this alludes earlier to what you were talking about with preachers' kids. And it's not enough just to keep the peace. It's not enough just to have, here's the word and here's how, Like you said, the word is very powerful. And sometimes its power can be wielded in the wrong ways, as we've seen many times. But I like trying to understand, first with the Mother's Day, and now with a father, pray for my son. I like the different positions we're taking on this versus just this guy who tried to assassinate a president, or...
Of course. Now
you're looking from the father's eyes, who was a preacher, who was a pastor.
Well,
it's very interesting. And of course, you have children who are or PKs as well, but I'm sure you've been watching out for...
Well, they all grew up as normal kids.
Good.
The first thing I did, the church we moved to when the children were little had a parsonage, sometimes called a manse.
Okay.
And I didn't want to live there. I don't want to be close to the church. So I asked them to sell that building, give me a housing allowance, and I would find my own house about 5 miles away from the church building, so the kids could be themselves without always the shadow of the church falling on them.
Very smart.
Best thing we did.
Very smart.
I really feel for mothers today who have a tough time. The pressures for providing physically, food, shelter, clothing. Many mothers are single now. 50% of homes in America are with single parents. So as a single mother, to raise a family is tough.
That's reflected in something I saw yesterday. I just thought I'd throw it out there because it's something you would never think of, having grown-up children. I have a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And I dropped him off at preschool this morning. And it's Teacher Appreciation Week. So all the kids are there. All kids show up for that because the parents want to make sure they bring the gifts and stuff like that. But what I noticed is there's 30 kids that go to this preschool.
Yeah.
And outside of this 30-kid preschool is a hanger rack for backpacks.
Yeah.
And I counted, there were 15 backpacks.
Yeah.
The backpacks are for when the kids get transferred from parent to parent. Single home to single home, they send stuff back and forth. I know, because my kid has a backpack.
Yeah.
I just thought it was really interesting that there was 30 kids in the school, and 15 backpacks.
Well, isn't that interesting?
Because you don't really bring backpacks when you all live together. Because the kid just comes home.
Yeah.
There's no reason to pack something for the other parent. So, yeah, exactly 50% of the kids that go to that school have single parents. And so your numbers are still right on today.
And for a single mother to raise the children, make sure that they have enough financial stability.
I think we all live. I know I live with my mom. She lives with her mom and her dad and stepmom. A lot of us live with the child's grandparents, and that seems to be the norm these days.
It's interesting how many in the black community, how many men who are well known, like athletes, say, "My grandma raised me." It's not even mother; it's grandmother.
And that's not just that. That's the Vietnamese community. It's almost an unwritten rule that the grandparents will take care of the children while the sons and daughters work, and the grandchild gets taken care of by the grandparents. Well, it's almost an unsaid rule in that. Yeah. Like, what are you doing taking care of your kid? When I go to Kung Fu, there's a lot of grandparents for the Vietnamese kids.
It's interesting. In Irvine, a lot of new housing being built.
Yes. Where
the Marine helicopter station used to be.
Yes. The Great Park area.
The Great Park. And they tell me that these condos have extra room for parents or grandparents and grandma for this reason. Because they come in and they are there to help raise a child. So God bless them. It's tough.
It's extremely tough.
To work enough to be able to feed the child and all that is not easy.
And the balance too. I mean, I was telling you off camera earlier, I'm having work issues because I want to make sure everybody's happy. I want to make sure my mother, who's getting older, has somebody around. I want to make sure my child has somebody around. I want to make sure that I'm able to handle things when my ex changes plans. And that leaves me in fourth place. And now I have to come up with extra funds these next couple months for summer. So I want to do some fun stuff. So it's an interesting, it's definitely juggling. Where do you put yourself in this? I can't believe it brought it up. Wow, these pointed reflections are very...
Well, thank you. And
eye-opening.
They are eye-opening. And I've, as a pastor, I've observed parents, mothers, who put on their child all their hopes and aspirations for themselves that they've had in life.
Living vicariously.
And they expect the child to grow up and to overachieve.
Correct.
So that their hopes and dreams for themselves will be realized.
See, this is why I had a kid when I was 42, and people are like, why did you wait so long? It's because I lived my life. I lived before God. I took the glory. I lived as long as I could, and I knew when I had a kid, it was time to put myself in the back seat.
And, well, you have to be careful, though, that you don't overburden the child who is there not for himself but for you. That's not the case. He's there for himself.
Yes, and I'm here to guide him.
And guide him to be himself.
Pick him up when he falls, dust him off, give him some support, and send him right back out there.
My wife, who was a teacher in Irvine, tells the story of mother coming and saying, "Oh, I want my kid, to succeed." The helicopter phenomenon, and push. Why? Because he's going to go to Harvard someday. Already, Harvard is being put on the poor kid's mind.
Yep, pedestal, so to speak.
Pedestal.
Pressure.
And that can be very hard on the kid.
I know for us, I'm getting a lot of USC already.
Yeah.
He needs to go to USC.
Yeah. And I don't know, Harvard is being, federal support is being cut. I don't know what's going to happen.
Who knows
to
what
Harvard.
it's going to be? I definitely see the thing. I agree with you. I mean, I only have a 5-year-old, so I haven't been through much.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this. I love spending time with him. I love being there for him.
Of course.
And shout out to Ruth, my deacon right now. She said, you don't have to be a Disney dad. Because the Disney dad doesn't spend much time with the kid, just takes him to Disney, right, to make him like him.
Yeah.
Spend as much time with him as you can. And for taking this huge pay cut I have, I'm spending all kinds of time with him. And I do not hold him to anything. And if I do, it's one thing. I say, I want you to play in the NBA. And he goes, why? I said, I'd like you to have a 2-year career and open a car dealership. So technically, I'm not trying to put him on a basketball career. I just want him to have a steady flow of income, which a lot of successful sports people have a car dealership.
Yeah.
So I didn't say I don't want you to make the Hall of Fame. I don't want you to play for the Lakers. I want you to make enough money to start your car dealership so you can just have a little fun with life. So I think you've proved me right in a few things that I felt very worried about today. But ultimately, we do come back to the mothers.
Yeah.
And they need to understand what power they have and not to wield it as a sword,
That's right.
but to wield it as love.
And not to overpressure the kid to the point of when the child becomes.
Where's your Mother's Day meditation again? That was 89?
I've lost it here.
I wanna close this out. I want to read it one more time. We opened with it. Let's close
here
with
it
it.
is. Yeah, 89.
Love is slow to lose patience. Love is constructive. Love is not possessive. Love is not anxious to impress. Love does not cherish inflated ideas of itself. Love has good manners. Manners. Love does not pursue selfish advantage. Love is not touchy. Wow. Love does not keep an account of evil. Love does not gloat over the wickedness of others. Love rejoices when truth prevails. Love knows no limits to its endurance. Wow, that's deep. Love knows no limits to its trust. Love knows no fading of its hope. And love outlasts anything else. And love was the main weapon, I hesitate to use the word, but main weapon to be used by our Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ.
That's right.
And I think that is one thing that separates him from every other king to be or king, is that his main weapon of choice was peace and love.
And to me, what is very disappointing and sad is many leaders today claim Christianity as their commitment.
But love is not on their agenda.
There is no love. It's power.
Yes, it's all power.
Power and money.
And absolute power.
Yeah, and power and money. And hold on, friends. History is full of leaders, famous people who crashed because they put their trust in love and in power and in money. And Jesus said, not for you. No, follow the way of Christ. And the beginning says, if I speak with the tongue of men and of angels and have no love, I'm nothing. He's referring to religious ecstasy, tongues. Corinth had a problem, had many problems.
Okay.
The whole book. One of them was that people were getting very vociferous about their faith, how they had superior faith.
Okay.
And one says, I'm this and I'm that and I'm that. And then came along the people who were speaking in tongues. And they're speaking in tongues, claiming this was superior faith. It's the same thing today, superior faith. And Paul is saying, you can do that, but if you have no love, you're just a clanging cymbal. You're making noise. Not much than noise. Well, may our faith be more than noise.
May our faith be more than noise. I'm going to add that to my food prayer.
Okay.
May our faith be more than noise.
and be more than noise, more than poise, and not be poisonous.
I think this may have been one of the most relatable pointed reflections we've done. I think when it comes to parenting,
Yeah.
either you've had a parent or you are a parent or both. When we get into these parenting pointed reflections, boy, does it hit home.
Yeah.
I think maybe we may have landed on something here.
Good. Good.
And we read the book of Habakkuk. Yes, and I'm looking forward to discussing this Friday with you at Bible study. Those who want to join us in Bible study, if you're in Orange County, leave a comment. We'll tell you where it is. Blessings.
Thank you. I don't want to tip that.